Hello, and welcome to another episode with Affinity Community Services. Affinity is a space where we work with and on behalf of LGBTQ Black communities, queer youth, and allies to identify emergent needs, create safe spaces, develop leaders, and bridge communities through collective analysis and action for social justice, freedom, and human rights. Tonight, our show is going to be about the youth work at Affinity, which has been growing and transitioning into what we call now just the Leadership Institute instead of the Youth Leadership Institute. Our vision in this is creating more programs that are intergenerational and also where the young people are not just being taught to, but facilitating programs and teaching their communities and the experiences and expertise that they have and build over their young years. So we have a combination of programs at Affinity, and they're all interconnected. So under the Leadership Institute, we have what we call the Junior Institute, which is pretty much teachings of social justice to high school age young people, regardless of their sexuality, gender identity, race, ethnicity, and class. So a lot of the work that we do for the Junior Institute relies on relationships with public schools and GSAs, which are gay straight alliances at high schools. We also reach out to a lot of community-based organizations that focused on youth work. And they vary from the Broadway Youth Center in Lakeview. We've done some collaborations with the Center of Change at Southwest Youth Collaborative. And we've also participated in some partnerships that produce parenting classes, which have been guided by community. There's also our diversity workshops that we've been building with PFLAG, which stands for Parents and Friends of Lesbian and Gays. And PFLAG, the diversity trainings with PFLAG are pretty much for communities and families. Whether you have a young person in your family who is queer or not, or challenging their sexual identity, or not sure of their sexual identity, it really doesn't have much to do with that. It's focused on love and how to go beyond tolerance and acceptance to affirmation, because affirmation into our young people is what builds self-esteem and gets the values that we want to see them produce versus the values or the beliefs that we want to place upon them. So most of the stuff that we do is bundled up into leadership development from a holistic standpoint. Their financial wellness, their mental wellness, physical wellness, their spiritual wellness. And we know there's no one-way cookie-cutter version of doing things, that everyone is different and everyone has different wants and needs. So making sure that we have assessments on how to ask young people what they want, or to get them generating thoughts about what they want and what the goals they have and what they need to get there. So one of our signature programs is the Scholars Program, which is a program I facilitate. And by the way, I'm Aisha Truss Miller. I'm the Youth Program Associate at Affinity Community Services. And the Scholars Program has been running for 3 years. We've had 3 excellent cohorts of young women, young queer women that are also genderqueer, just being themselves and learning what they need to grow, and asking us for that and for that space to grow. In the process, they also teach us and challenge us to grow and think outside the box and what we really need in community to be allies to young people. So I've heard that we have a caller on the line who is a former scholar, which we don't say former scholar, but scholar alum. Hello.
Hello, Aisha. How are you? It's Coco Maya.
Hello, Coco Maya, the beautiful. How are you?
I'm working on it, and when you let me know that you needed someone to let people know how beautiful the Affinity Scholar Program is, I just had to call. And I'm sorry that I'm on the train. I didn't really have that much time, but I was like, I have to call in and let people know how beautiful this is.
That's fine. You're a true Chicagoan. You're on the train.
Yes.
So yes, the program is what the people are, and Coco Maya is a brilliant activist, artist in the community, doing her thing, representing the trans, intersex, gender nonconforming, and queer communities, not just in Chicago but across the nation and world. She has had her rally this past July, TGIF Pride in Chicago, which was one of a kind program that brought in. It was a rally and picnic, and people from all over the country came to support trans issues, gender nonconforming issues, to build community. And it was just about intersex freedom and pride and people and love. And that's just the kind of person Coco Maya is. So for her to become a scholar and show interest in the program, become part of the program, and leave her signature stamp and love on the program is exactly what the Scholars Program and Affinity is about. You know, we have no, like I said, one way of doing things. The people know how to do the things. And Coco Maya was a great educator in the program and taught all of us many things, and which we are still growing from now. So thank you very much for calling in, Coco Maya. I know you're very busy doing all the great work you do in community. I also wanted to mention that the scholars, the program is for 10 months. They receive their leadership enrichment. They really learn about themselves and how to work as a team, and how to navigate the nonprofit and that system and the systems within, and also deal with daily facts of life, the oppression and the violence and the systems that we have to navigate on a daily basis as Black women, as queer women, as Chicago residents, as people of color. So I just want to say that a lot of the young women who come to the program either already have a critical analysis they just want to be expand, or by the end of the program develop one on their own, not based on our beliefs, but on the knowledge that they require throughout the program. Oh, okay. So we have another caller. Hello?
Hello. Yes, this is Billy.
Hi, Billy.
Hey, Aisha, how you doing?
How are you?
I wanted to ask a question. Do you guys provide services for straight youth?
Do we provide services for straight people? So, yes, we provide community and love for straight people. We don't provide direct services at all, but we do make referrals for services. Yeah. Yeah. So community isn't about one identity or one sexual identity. So if you have a young person or a friend or a relative who is gay, queer, lesbian, bisexual, you also need to be educated in how to handle your emotions and dealing with that, and how to build the relationship that you want without offending them. You know, so there's things to learn. You may be a straight parent, you know, trying to deal with your young person coming out. You know, you can be a straight employee, or like I call myself heteronormative employee or activist, an educator that just concerned about community in general. You know, we are all of one people, but we've made up of these groups and aspects of community, but they're still part of one whole. So fighting for gay rights is different and similar, you know, for fighting for racial disparities, and especially if you're intertwined in both of those communities, you're affected by the same issues. So I actually met a brother this weekend at a event I went to by ICE, and he was very much interested in what Affinity was and what they did, and expressed how he's challenging his homophobia, and wanted to learn more, and wanted to know when we were having upcoming programs, just so he can break down some of the stereotypes that he's built up over the years. And he also mentioned that sometimes, you know, he's afraid that he would get violent around gay men because he'd be afraid that they would come on to him. So I mean, this is a man who's acknowledging, right, areas of his growth, that where he wants to grow. And so that's not someone you knock, that's somebody you say, hey, we provide you a safe space to do that. You got questions, you have assumptions, you got stereotypes and biases. Affinity is a space where you can challenge these things and you can learn these things and express these things, and folks are going to challenge you, but with love and with respect, and not judgmental, because people are entitled to their opinions. But it's all about growing, evolving. Like that's what's intended by higher powers, right? If we were meant to stay stagnant and the same and think narrow-mindedly, none of us would get ahead. So yes, we offer, I guess, programming for straight people. We also do parenting programs. So not everything is about sexual identity at Affinity. It's just a lens, a scope that we look through, and something that we want people to see. It's not a big deal. It's not something to focus on, even though our constituents are primarily queer women, lesbian women, bisexual women. Their mothers, their daughters, their sisters, they're someone's teacher, so yes, we have straight programming. And another call. This question, on the air? We put them on the air.
Good evening. I was listening to what you were saying. You were talking about where your program, where people could challenge certain different types of ideas. What do you say to somebody like me that says sometimes some of these programs, they encourage people to, how you put it, to experiment? And I've heard people say that they didn't have certain type of, they wasn't encouraged to experiment. They didn't have the free idea because they was influenced, in terms of experimenting.
Are you talking about in terms of experimenting with their sexual identity?
The whole rainbow.
Okay, and what's the question?
I'm telling maybe a person maybe before was straight, and maybe they had some questions, or maybe they was confused, whatever, and they experiment in terms of having sex with a person with the same of the same sex, and then later on they said that they wish they hadn't because they was confused, whatever, they was influenced.
All right. So that's a great question, and those are real life situations. And so what do you deal with when someone has expressed that to you? At Affinity, we're not here to tell you what your sexual identity is. We're here to help you have a space to figure that out for yourself and have the adequate resources to do that. So my suggestion for someone who's going through something like that is I would refer them to some counseling, to speak to someone about their situations and how they want to deal with that. I couldn't tell them what their sexual identity was or is. It's a journey that they would discover and find out whether they were experimenting or not. Yeah, and especially if they were influenced. Like, we're not here to influence sexual acts or behavior. We're here to influence leadership. We're here to influence positivity. We're here to influence how, as a community, we take care of each other regardless of our differences and identities, and how to not exploit each other in that process, because something like that would be exploitation. And the number one thing I am not for is the exploitation of our young people and people in general, people who are on the margins, who are already oppressed because they are young or women or queer or poor. So anyone who benefits off that in any type of way should definitely be called out. But the person who's dealing with those situations need a space where they're embraced and they're loved and they're respected and they're not judged, and they are provided with tools to become better people and to figure out what it is that they want and to reach their goals. So why do the Bible think okay, we can put on the air. Hello?
Hello?
Hi there.
Hi, I'm so glad I'm on. Hi, hello?
Hello, you're on air.
I'm glad I'm on the air because I heard you about to read the question and it was so wrong. I heard you say something about the Bible being oppressive, and I wanted to know why that's your view, because I absolutely think it's totally freeing. And the second question is, I've noticed that in the gay lesbian community, if you don't agree with the lifestyle, you're labeled homophobic. And I'm curious as to why, if anyone disagrees with that lifestyle, they're labeled homophobic.
All right. Those are legitimate and great questions. All right. So let's first start with the homophobic piece. So I don't believe that if a person doesn't agree with lifestyle, whatever you want to put in front of it, whatever the word you want to use, I don't believe that's being homophobic. I would challenge that, thinking that being gay is a lifestyle in itself could be is problematic in itself, right? So homophobic is when, to me, because definitions mean different things to different people based on their experiences. So homophobia or homophobic to me would be a person expressing without love and sincerity and in a vile manner or not, that a person's lifestyle is an abomination, that a person is committing a sin. You know, those kind of slogans that you hear when someone wants to get violent, because those words are violent, and also when it compels someone to become violent. You know, if you see two people who are of same gender who are expressing love to each other, if that insinuates anger in you and you have to say something vile or you have to become aggressive, that's homophobic. Because I'm quite sure when I feel the same way when I see straight couples, when I'm out in public, people don't want to see me kissing my guy. Like, let's just keep it real. But if we in a moment where we expressing and we sharing love, that's our intimate moment, and it's not up for people outside of our love to tell us that we're inappropriate for expressing our love right now. You know, it's all in how you present things. You don't have to agree with a person to say that you're against them. If you're about supporting a person's rights, regardless of what you agree with, then that's different. But when a person is criminalized or demonized because of their identity, if a person is denied access or rights because of any aspect of their identity, sexual, race, gender, it's an ism. And we have to call it what it is, because calling it something else is continually hiding behind the very systems that oppress people like me and you. You know, the very systems that oppress all types of people of color, women of color, young people of color. Like, so it's not that everything that's not waving rainbow flag and affirmation is homophobic, but we can't act like it doesn't exist. And it's not just in Black communities or Latino communities, it's society as a whole. And it's a cultural thing. So the piece relating to the Bible, why do people call the Bible oppressive? Well, I am a Christian and my family is Christian. My mother was raised Christian. Like, so, and I'm not a Christian because we were raised a particular way. I chose to worship. I chose to accept God in my life, right? So, but I still, as an educator, as a person who does research, as a person who knows that the Bible is not the oldest religion in the world. I mean, the oldest reference of historical scripture in the world. The fact that I know that the version of the Bible that we have in America was tweaked by King James, you know, like things can be used oppressively. So I wouldn't say, quote unquote, itself that the Bible is oppressive, but how the Bible can be used can be liberating, like you said, can be something free, or it can be used to oppress. And that's true for any book of knowledge. That's true for any any things that's labeled fact. You know, that's true for research. You know, research can be there to support a community and prove a point, and it can also be there to set a community back and oppress them. So it's not that the Bible in itself is oppressive, it's the interpretations by people that are placed upon other people. And when I talk about beliefs, it's not just Christianity. It's people's personal beliefs, is other pieces of religious and spirituality. When you oppose what you believe on other people, it's oppressive and it's violent. You know, people have their own minds and they have their own relationship with God, and it's not for us to judge or to characterize any of that. Especially if it's in a way that's setting us back, you know, that's without love and respect and honor. We blowing up. So Oh, alrighty. I think we may have a minute to do a little bit of peace. We have the last question. He wants to do it on the air. Okay. Comment. Okay, I like comments.
I just want to hear your opinion. Right now, a lot of people talk about same-sex marriage. I think in the next 10 years, that won't be an issue because the way the science is right now, parents be able to tell whether or not their child is going to be gay. And they're going to have the option in terms of aborting their children. I think that's going to be a bigger issue in the next 10 years. It won't be same-sex marriage at all. And I just want to hear your thoughts about that.
Well, I can't project what would be the big issue in the next 10 years. Politics is a game, and it's to whatever the people who really design those systems and want the issue to be and show on the media. That's what the issue going to be, whatever they show on TV all the time and not on CAN TV. That's what the issue would be. But the issue of gay marriage, the issue is that marriage is a right and a liberty, and it's not up to people to determine who should have what rights. It's not up for us to hold it back. It's up to us to make sure all those people are liberated and have the same rights and same equal access as everyone else, regardless, again, of identity. As far as reproductive justice rights, that's an issue right now. It's been an issue. It was an issue in history. It's going to be an issue up today because it's about population control. And whether you can know the sexuality of your baby or not, once again, regardless of situations, the circumstance, a woman's right to choose is her right to choose if that's something that you believe in or if that's something you support, because I don't think it's like a belief. It's up to that woman. So just personally for me, I argue with people all the time. They like calling me pro-abortion or whatever that means. I'm pro-choice. If you choose to terminate a pregnancy, that's your choice. If you choose to have this baby, that's your choice. It's my job as a community member to love you and support you and not judge you and let you know that they're just to heal yourself physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. That will be it for the questions. And I want to go back to the youth programs, which all these topics come up with our young people all the time. And I don't think school is always the setting where they can really have those types of conversations. The questions you ask are the same questions they ask. I'm quite sure a lot of them have answers or responses better than I can give you. But I tried. So those are reasons why to continually have these conversations and people who can be leaders in those roles and issues of our communities to make sure that our rights are secured and expanded, right? So ways to support Affinity's youth work. You can volunteer as a mentor, you can tutor, you can become part of our advisory council where we evaluate our programs and make sure we're meeting the goals and expectations of our programs. We have expertise facilitators come in from doing life wellness skills to professional topics. You can make a financial contribution or donation. You can spread the word about what you've learned tonight and what we do as a community. And for more information, you can check us out at affinity95.org, on our Facebook, on our Twitter. We also have a Tumblr, or you can call us at 773-324-0377. So I hope you've had a great night, and I know the questions are still, sparring, and you can, hit me up. Check me out at Affinity. I'm all about having conversation and engaging the people. I'm not narrow-minded because it takes a collective to do this when we really believe that and practice that it takes a village. I'm here today because of a community who invested in me from my youth until my adulthood, and I'm still being invested in my physical wellness, my intelligence, my emotional wellness, and my spiritual wellness are all being given food. They're all being nourished at Affinity, through my family, through Boys and Girls Club, and through the hood, because those are the people who have supported me in every way, shape, and form. And that's what we want to give back at Affinity, love and community. So have a great night. Peace, Chicago.